It's got less horsepower than a modern minivan. It's slower than a Camry. And it looks like it's smiling at you. So why the hell is Miata always the answer? If you've ever touched car Twitter, Reddit, or walked into an autocross paddock, you've probably heard this phrase. Miata is always the answer. But why? It's not just about being cheap, or light, or rear-wheel drive. The Miata is something else. Something that connects you to the road in a way that most modern cars forget how to do. It's the kind of car that says, here's a manual, here's 50-50 weight distribution. Now go have fun. No ego, no gimmicks, just raw analog joy. And yeah, I get it. Some people think it's just underpowered or too cute, but if you know, you know. And if you don't, well, you're about to. Because today, we're breaking down every generation of Miata, from the pop-up headlight NA to the modern ND2. We're talking engines, handling, racing history, why the NC gets unfairly hated on, and why this little roadster keeps proving everyone wrong. Drop your favorite Miata gen in the comments, and no shame if you choose the NC. I respect the boldness. Let's start where it all began. The NA Miata, aka the one with the pop-up headlights, and the purest driving feel of the bunch. This car dropped in 1989, and immediately reminded the world what driving was supposed to feel like. No touchscreens, no traction control, just you, a 5-speed manual, and a car that barely weighed 2,000 pounds. Under the hood, you had two options, a 1.6-liter inline-4 making 116 horsepower, and later, a 1.8-liter with up to 133 horses. Not exactly neck-snapping, but that wasn't the point. This car was all about balance. It had a near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution, a double wishbone suspension on all four corners, and a chassis that begged to be pushed, even if you were just doing 30. Drive one of these, and you'll catch yourself smiling like an idiot. It's like driving a street-legal go-kart with a heater and a glove box. But let's not romanticize it too much. It was slow. With stock suspension and 30-year-old bushings, some of these feel like wet noodles now. Still, it taught a whole generation how to heel toe, how to hit an apex, and how to mod a car without draining their bank account. So yeah, it wasn't fast, but it didn't need to be. And when the NB showed up, things started getting interesting. All right, next up, the NB, aka the Miata that lost the pop-up headlights, and with them, the love of half the internet. But here's the thing, if you're skipping the NB just because the lights don't blink at you anymore, you're missing out. The NB took everything that made the NA great, the weight, the balance, the simplicity, and made it tighter. It got a bit more power, better suspension geometry, and it still kept the double wishbone suspension on all four corners. You're looking at a 1.8-liter BPZ3 inline-4 with about 140 horsepower, depending on the year. A bit heavier than the NA, but still in the sweet spot under 2,400 pounds. And if you're one of the lucky ones, you got the holy grail, the Mazda Speed. That's right. From 2004 to 2005, Mazda gave in and turbocharged the Miata from the factory. 178 horsepower, upgraded suspension, limited slip diff, Bilstein shocks. It was basically a Spec Miata with a boost addiction. Mazda Speed NBs are getting rare and expensive, but even a base NB with a few mods can become an absolute track weapon. Now, it's not perfect. The interiors felt cheap, the headlights fog out if you even think about humidity, and early models had some weird ECU behavior. So yeah, it's underrated, it's overlooked, but that just means more for us. And while people keep calling it the forgotten Miata, the NB just keeps showing up to track days, eating apexes, and embarrassing cars with double the power. But then came the NC, and let's just say, things got complicated. Ah yes, the NC Miata, the one that everyone loves to hate. Too heavy, too soft, looks like a catfish. I've heard it all. But the NC, it's the one people sleep on the hardest, and that makes it a sleeper in more ways than one. Let's break it down. The NC was a total platform shift. Gone was the old chassis. Mazda based this one on the RX-8's architecture, and under the hood, a 2-liter MZR inline-4 making around 170 horsepower. That's the most power a Miata has seen so far, but it also came with more weight, pushing close to 2,500 pounds, depending on the trim. People weren't happy. They said the Miata has gotten soft. But what they missed was this. The NC has bones. It still has double wishbone suspension up front, a multi-link rear, and a rock-solid engine that was ripe for mods, or even a 2.5-liter swap from the Mazda 3 or 6. And let me tell you, a 2.5 swapped NC with good coilovers and sticky tires, you're looking at low 13s in the quarter mile, and track times that punch way above its price point. Now, I won't lie, the stock steering feel is kind of numb. And the design, yeah, it got the face of a confused fish. But functionally, this thing moves. You can find NCs for way less than NBs. and they usually haven't been thrashed to death like the older gens. And that PRHT, the power retractable hardtop, is kind of a flex. The NC was ahead of its time in the wrong way. But now that used car prices are insane, this is the Miata you should be looking for if you care more about driving than Instagram likes. But if you do care about likes, and you want that modern driving feel to match, this is where the ND comes in. So Mazda looked at all the complaints about the NC and basically went, all right, you want classic? We'll give you classic. Enter the ND. Smaller, lighter, sharper. And let's be honest, it looks damn good. The ND launched in 2016 with the 2-liter Skyactiv G engine, making 155 horsepower. Doesn't sound like much, but this car weighs around 2,300 pounds. Lighter than the NC, and almost back in the NA territory. Then, in 2019, Mazda dropped the ND2, same engine, but now with 181 horsepower, a 7,500 RPM redline, and way more urgency. It's the one you want, period. This thing finally gave people what they've been begging for. Real power, modern tech, and that same Miata magic. Except now, it comes with Apple CarPlay and heated seats. And yes, it still has a manual, a really good one. Short throws, snappy clutch, makes every shift feels like you're in a race, even if you're just late to work. Mazda didn't just phone this one in either. The ND has incredible chassis tuning, borderline telepathic steering, low center of gravity, and still dances like a featherweight. But look, it's not perfect. It's more expensive, it's more refined, maybe too refined. Some say it lost a little of that raw, buzzy soul that the NA had. And let's not even talk about the RF version if you're over 6 feet tall. Still, if you want that Miata experience without having to deal with the rusty frame rails, cracked dashboards, or 25-year-old bushings, the ND is the easy button. But the Miata story doesn't stop with just specs and generations, because where this car really earned its stripes was on the track. If you still think the Miata is just some cute little weekend car, let's talk racing. Because the Miata isn't just a great car, it's the most raced car in America. Enter Spec Miata, a grassroots series so competitive, it makes F1 look like a parade. We're talking bumper-to-bumper battles, door-to-door action, and drivers so evenly matched that your toe setting could be the difference between first and last. And you know what's wild? Most of these guys are running stock 1.6 or 1.8 liter engines with around 120 horsepower. No turbos, no trick aero, just skill. You can get into a full race-ready Spec Miata for less than it costs to finance a new Corolla. And once you're in, the racing is real. Like elbows out, fender rubbing, crowd cheering real. But it doesn't stop with Spec Miata. These cars show up in time attack, hill climbs, autocross, drift events, you name it. And the best part? The aftermarket is insane. Suspension kits, roll bars, turbo setups, even V8 swaps if you hate traction. Or if you're really unhinged, you can K-swap it and ruin friendships at your local track. Miatas aren't just fun cars. They're proven platforms, the kind of cars that reward driving skill over bank account size. And that's why the Miata isn't just a meme, it's a movement. Which brings us to our final question. Why is Miata always the answer? Like, always. The Miata isn't fast. It doesn't flex. It's not rare, exotic, or intimidating. But that's exactly why it's the answer. Because in a world of overpriced track toys, torque-rich SUVs pretending they're sporty, and 600 horsepower no one can actually handle, the Miata is doing what it's always done, reminding you that driving should be fun. It rewards skill, not status. It teaches you to drive better, not faster. And whether you're bombing a canyon, dodging cones at autocross, or just taking the long way home, it makes every mile feel like a celebration. Miata is always the answer because it's within reach. It doesn't matter if you're 17 with a used NA or 37 with a brand new ND2. It gives you everything you need to feel connected to the road, and nothing you don't. That's why Miata is not just a car. It's the cure for everything that went wrong with driving. If this video gave you a new respect for Miatas, or just made you want one, hit that like button. Drop your favorite gen in the comments, and grab the Car Bible or Learning About Cars for Beginners to dive deeper into the car world. Link in the description. My name is Matt, and this is Rockers Drive Club.